All right, we're live. Hello and welcome to another episode of the LTA Report. In this episode, we're going to kind of just be previewing First Stand. It's a completely new tournament. We're going to talk a little bit about like what happened, our teams that are going there, expectations, format, all that good stuff. G2
Mhm.
not making it is probably talk a little bit about it, and yeah, obviously we have the NACL open qualifier drama that happened, and then the Zaya esports skin. I think is something that we should definitely talk about because that affects the LTA directly, the LTA teams and people that attend First Stand. So I'll let you go ahead and start us off on First Stand. What do you think TL is gonna do? How sorry, you think TL is gonna do? We have the schedule. We know we're playing
Do
KC.
we want do we want the copium take or the realistic take first?
I think the realistic take
Third.
third.
Behind the LCK and LPL teams.
That's the realistic take. Okay. What's
Well,
your
the
copium
copium
take?
take is we're gonna finish second and then we get the extra spot for play-ins.
That is a lot of copium. I want, dude. Whatever you're puffing, I need some of
But
that because I.
the co- well the copium take is if there's a team in North America that I would trust to cause absolute chaos when a new patch rolls around, even though it indirectly or it directly impacts how they play because lane swaps and everything, it is like properly TL. I just, if we're looking at like the KC matchup, I just think st- they're gonna make that game very boring. I think they're just gonna completely shut off any strong points that KC has, and I think that we have the best ADC in the West, in my opinion. I think Yon is a cut above the rest, and he's already shown it on the international stage, and we have to see how Tlis does because this is his first appearance, right? And the ADC pool was pretty stacked for his first appearance. Viper, Jackie Love, Yon. I'm not even saying that disrespectfully for Yon. He can compete with these guys like hands wise. It's just can let the rest of the team perform.
So I'll give you the Doomer take, I guess, and then I'll give you my actual takes on like Team Liquid.
Mm-hmm.
The format isn't that great for Team Liquid. I will say. I think it's a single round robin. Your first game where like you're still getting the nerves and the jitters out. Like historically, NA teams start off not too great, and then when we're eliminated, we suddenly show up. Actually, going back even more, like back to 2014, 2015, we always had like week one in NA where we would go like 3-0 or 2-1 in our teams, and then week two where we went 0-10 in 9 games. It was hilarious, 2015. But yeah, more recently, like when the pressure is off, we kind of show up. But when the pressure is on, and in first games, we kind of have those nerves, we have those jitters. I mean, just like at Team Liquid versus Isurus versus look at the finals. I think Team Liquid is more of a scaling team, and I'm not too excited to see Vladi absolutely smurf against APA. I'll just point this out. APA went to MSI, played against, obviously not on stage, but scrimmed against Caps, learned so much, and looked like a completely different mid laner. Vladi just smurfed versus Caps. Vladi gets to scrim the entire year, last split, and all of this split, gets to scrim against this guy and improves, and clearly is just like the best rookie that we have. I think technically he doesn't count as a rookie because he played last split, but Kalist might be the rookie of the year. Either way, I think Vladi is just such a big strength. I actually think the reports of like TL's nerfs because of lane swaps are highly exaggerated. I think lane swaps in the first 4 minutes are gone, which will change drafting compositions. But I don't think that lane swaps are gone. I think after 4 minutes, TL is going to lane swap again.
I think
I
that's one of their big strengths, right? Because I think the one thing that is evident with like FlyQuest and TL when you are looking at these other LTA teams is they are consistently moving their pieces about. Where the LTA they may have a good read on the first couple of transitions, but then as soon as TL starts moving their pieces about, getting Yawn in that mid lane, buffing him up, putting AP to the side lane, that's where you start to see the cookie crumble. And I don't think a team in EU lights a candle to TL and FlyQuest in like lane swaps compared to like East. I mean, they can pull you in any direction they want. Even if you're very good at lane swaps, they will they will completely like shut out any like attempts Tia will have to like avoid these matchups, and I just I just have like you said, like it does impact them, but if there's a team like I do trust, it is TL. Like
I
out
would
of the
say
two.
that I would say that after summer, but after this split, like okay, Umtia's looks shaky. Yike has won 7 splits in a row. Okay, no one in EU has ever done it. Caps has done 6 twice in
Mm-hmm.
a row. This guy is like legit. People are saying, oh, he just like it's because he's on G2. I would agree. The first year it was because he was on G2. Second year he really came into his own, and you can see that on KC. Kana, like he's just a better T1 X T1 top laner than Impact right now. Impact is having a shaky seat. Like last spring, I would say last split, I would definitely take Impact over Kana, but Kana has been looking great and Impact hasn't. So you have the top jungle. I think they have a better mid laner in Vladi. I think Vladi is looking like probably the best mid laner in the West right now. Like he just looks
Mm-hmm.
incredible. And so like while I think our bot lane, like Team Liquid's bot lane, is going to do better, is that enough? When your top side is just falling apart, your jungler is throwing a Baron, like it's a little. I would say like again, like I said, last split going into Worlds, going to MSI, I would say yes, I'm confident in Team Liquid. But after all the shakiness we've seen, I don't know that Team Liquid's the team that is going to bring that stability that we're used to because we really haven't seen stability. Even in the finals, they won 3-0. They were losing games 2 and 3, like bigger and bigger leads. And it was like 100, again, 100T had to choke and TL had to pick up the ball that they threw. But it wasn't the level of stability and like early game dominance that we've seen from them last split. And I think just because they won, we shouldn't say, hey, they're back on form. It's like, no, they're still a shell of what they used to be. So that's my doomer take.
My counteracting today is I think they did improve, but with I think it's more detriment to 100 Thieves' playstyle. They will take any team down in the mud with them. Like you saw when they played BNK Fearex, how bloody that game was. They are just an absolutely bloody team, and they will not go quietly, but they will really just force fights, even if it doesn't work in their favor. Um, to Russell's point, like how much does that experience like really pay off when we're meant to be saying that two of our like more experienced players internationally, like Core and Impact, they've never really been like amazing at international events of Team Liquid. So
2019
like
they
how
were.
much? Yes, okay, sure. Like
6 years ago,
you've had
yeah.
you've had the odd performance out of them, but consistently, would you really say that these players have been like the vocal point for TO internationally? No, it's always been other players. So like I'm not ready to say TL like have the experience in like that regard, but I I really do have a lot of faith in Spawn. Not quite there on the goat debate. I think people are getting a little too ahead of themselves. So
It's literally the worst argument
get
you could
out.
ever make. Like it's such a disrespect of history to think that he's the goat when like he's done nothing. He's literally done nothing internationally. Absolutely, like not we have they've done nothing, and all of a sudden he's the goat. He's won what 2 out of 3 splits. He's coached for 3 splits. Come on, man, goat they say.
One thing I will say is that TL's finally having stability internationally in some regards in terms of like consistent appearances. As a C9 fan, I absolutely would love to be back at an international event. It's been a while. And I think you're slowly getting an identity with TL in terms of they can make these games competitive against the top teams. They did for a little bit at Worlds. Um, and I think it was against LNG, right? The series that
They threw both the LNG and the was it Weibo that they played the first time? Yeah, they threw both of those.
right. And like I guess that's the story of most NA teams ever, right? But at least from a gameplay perspective, I really like what they showed. Um, it's tough to call because I am not fully on the bandwagon like our good friend David that he used complete dog trash and our teams are like infinitely bad. But I do think TL is going to beat KC.
I'll give you the copium take that I have. I think it's I'm on David's side. So like I gave all the reasons why I think Team Liquid might not do well, and then Russell brings a great point where he's like, yeah, but they're gonna boot camp in Korea and they're gonna play against better teams and they're gonna improve. And one thing we know about Team Liquid is, historically speaking, when they get to boot camp and they get to play, especially with the spawn lineup, they find a way to like improve. I think that's a big part that's going to happen where Team Liquid are going to look different because they're going to be different strategies because the patch is different. And again, they're probably one of the best lane swapping teams. They were the best lane swapping team last Worlds, alongside with FlyQuest. I think that they can definitely find these different strategies to utilize. I think they'll, because it's best of three and not best of five round robin, they'll be able to kind of hide some of the champ pool issues that might be facing, some of the champ pool issues that what's his name? APA might face if he gets, Ziggs
Mhm.
and Asol and Talia and Nico. Like, okay, what do you play now? Like your Azir doesn't look great. You're missing your shuffles left and right. Your Oriana looks kind of sus. Like, what do you play? So I think that it's best of three that does kind of help them, and I think that going in strong, kind of like what Russell was saying, Kalista and Vladdy have never played on a big stage before. They played like for fun games like the Red Bull event, but this is very different, you know. And while Kana might have a little bit of experience, and obviously Targamas has that experience, Yike has the experience. It's very difficult to kind of relay that to your rookies, and I think I wouldn't be surprised if they come in shaky, with strategies that might not be the greatest as well, because
Mhm.
especially at the beginning of the tournament, no one really knows what you're going to be playing. So I can definitely see us being third. Second is going to be a little bit difficult just because TES. Okay, I think Hanwha is going to win. I think Hanwha looks like the best team. I don't see them losing in a best of five. Maybe in best of threes, sure. I don't see them losing in a best of five. Top Esports, the only team that really could challenge them. I think Top Esports have definitely like ramped up. Um, Cream, Kanavi, and 369 have been playing great. I think Jackie Love has also been playing good as well. I just think that the clutch factor of Hollow Life is too much, and I think we're just outclassed in every
Yeah.
role. I think Kanavi murders um what's his name? I think 369 is playing like he's out for blood. I don't think it's even close in the top lane. He's been playing his carries really well. He's been playing his tanks very well. I think Cream is actually like Cream is the first mid laner in like I don't know how many splits to not be Knight or Yagao to win. Or I think Xiaohu, like those and Scout are like the four mid laners that have the most of everybody, all the wins. In terms of mid laners, and so like it's gonna be very difficult to match up to
Do you
top
know what I've
esports.
noticed about? Do you know what I've noticed about this particular like tournament? In my head, I was thinking these are like the international pretenders. Like this is a full tournament of like international pretenders and players that have a lot to prove. Because like I'm a big 369 fan. I think he should be doing more. He should have been doing more like in the past. Peanut, for example, I like one of my another like, favorite player. They just never get over that hurdle, and you've got a lot of these players that just don't get over that hurdle again. Like I know Jack Love has won worlds, but he hasn't really like risen to the heights like, internationally since. Like, and they top have really got to get rid of that 2021 egg, 21 or 22, 20. The one where
22, yeah.
they they need to remove that duck immediately.
Okay, while I see what you're saying, like I personally don't really appreciate those types of rhetoric. Like results are one thing, but then you also have to look at what they actually did, right? The reason top
Context matters
esports
as well.
Yeah, the reason top esports lost, it's a very different team going into this year. And same thing, like 369 was the closest to ever to the golden road. Like well, I guess technically G2
Mm-hmm.
was, but 369 beat T1, beat Gen G. Like he was incredible. He lost one best of five in the entire year. I don't think anyone's like done that before. Even world winners haven't done that. Same thing for Kanavi. He was on that JDG roster. Like this guy has proved himself. So I think with Peanut, like last year, Peanut looked amazing. It definitely wasn't Peanut's fault that
No, no,
Hanwha Life lost.
I
Like
don't disagree. I think it's just the people that get so close, but yet they're so far. Like that's how I'm trying to
I
get.
mean,
Not that
Peanut
they're
made it
like,
to Worlds
underperforming.
Final. I don't know. I don't like this guy
No, I
has
mean
been.
like these are like the players you look back and I know some of them have won, but like there's a lot of players here that are like they would have gone down as great players that didn't win a title, like type players. Like Jackie Love won Worlds when he was in his like debut season, I believe,
Debut
and
year,
then
yeah.
yeah, and then never got the opportunity to like win the crown again. And like it is a very hard thing to do. I just think I know I'm saying like I think it's cool that these are a lot of players that have come so close to winning multiple times and then they don't. And now none of their like no fucking team one, no rather like they're undeniable when like the international stage comes around.
I also think Faker kind of spoils everybody's perception because of how many worlds he's won, how many
Absolutely.
MSIs. Like, just to tell you how many people have won worlds on this roster, TES have Jackie Love, who's won once, right? They don't have Meku
Mm-hmm.
anymore. But then if you look on Hanwha Life, they have Viper, who's won worlds once. You have Zeka, who's won world once. You have Zeus, who's won world twice, and he is the most winningest going into worlds. You look at I mean, Casey doesn't have anybody, and then Team Liquid, you have Core DJ, won worlds once. You have Impact, won worlds once. Most people just win one time.
Mm-hmm.
Most people only win once, and so like I don't even making it to the world finals is like it's a huge accomplishment, and I understand people
Mm-hmm.
like think that oh you're not good enough if you don't win, but it's like first of all, there's only been like what 14 like in terms of real world championships there's only been like what 12, right? Because are we going to count season 1? Okay, we can count season 2, so then you have like 13 world championships, right? That's not that many when Faker's won 5, you know? So it's like
Mm-hmm.
making it to the world championship is already an incredibly difficult like thing to do,
I think there's
and
just a lot of anxiety that the LPO and LCK bring because like Jackie Love fell down the list to like 5, 6, 7th in like terms of like these AD carried list for like even the LPL. And I'm like, damn, you're incredible, but you're on this like not even competing team. And I think that causes a lot. I hate it. I don't like how there is so many good players that you may never see. Like I thought for a long time Viper's not winning a world championship or anything like that, and then he did. But I think that's what how like dominant T1 were, how dominant like even that dumb one team for like a brief period. I thought like you really thought they won a lot, and then you like you check and
they only won once.
they won that. Yeah, no, they won worlds. They didn't win MSI, right? I don't
Nope,
think.
they lost to
No, that's what I mean.
RNG.
Like in the year that you thought that they're actually the best team, they didn't win anything.
They lost both
Like
world
that was
finals in
the
2021. Yep.
yeah the yeah the 2021 year when people thought like they were hands down clear cut favorites.
People were saying that the semifinals between T1 and Dom1 was the real finals, and like, oh my god, we have to watch EDG
I
play,
hate
like,
that.
and then
I
EDG beats
always hate
them,
that.
and I was like, oh yeah, the real finals, huh? Okay.
I always hate that argument. But then I am like one of few that actually like the single elimination for worlds.
Yeah, so I think like I see what you're saying, where it's like, okay, you have Peanut, who's a player who's like he's made the world finals, he made semifinals like a bajillion times, he's won like 8 titles on set
Okay,
5 different
let
teams.
me try and rephrase it. This is an opportunity for the players who have not got to win a lot. They get to win another international tournament. That's how like, and it's an opportunity, even if it's just a small opportunity for a Western team to make a finals.
See, I don't think it'll
Very
matter.
small.
I don't think it'll matter. I'll tell you why. Because I think people only count worlds. Because think about it, there are MSI
Mm-hmm.
winners. Like 369 and Kanavi have won MSI.
Mm-hmm.
And they did it in like probably the best team that we've ever seen. And people don't really they'll just be like, oh, it's TES, those same players who like always fail internationally, but they don't always fail internationally. They fail worlds, but they've won MSI, right? Same thing with Chovy. People are just going to call
Yeah.
him Choki. He won the most recent MSI. He's the reigning MSI champion. You know, he won 4 splits in a row, or was it 5? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 4. He won 4 splits in a row. Like he has his titles. I just feel like Worlds is put on such a different pedestal that like these people have titles. It's not just not world titles. Um,
I think that's like another argument in itself because I wouldn't want Worlds any other way in terms of if you look at any other esport, like Worlds is the pinnacle, like the closest thing you will get to like a sports, like a really big like, sporting event, like Super Bowl, World Cup, Champions League, etc., etc. But then it's the attitude that everyone, and maybe we can talk about this briefly because I tweeted about this the other day, like the attitude that everyone has towards this event versus the VCT event that just happened, where one feels like no one gives a crap versus like T1 were out there fighting for their lives to win their first international tournament for Valorant, right?
yeah,
And like to these players, it's like life changing. Um, so yeah, like I don't know if you want to talk about that a
I
little bit
do.
or
Yeah. My next question actually was going to be like, how much is this firsthand worth? Because
in terms of money, pretty good.
well,
But
not in terms of money, in terms
actual
of like
value,
title. Yeah,
in terms of title, nothing.
it's more
Nothing.
than EWC. I'll say that much, right? Like last year, EWC really no one really remembers. I think this one will be remembered. I think it'll be tracked, and I think it'll actually be like significant. But then I think this is something that needs to be discussed now because what ends up happening, which happened with EWC, is when Gen G and T1 went, everyone was saying, oh, this thing doesn't matter. Like EWC, it's like, it's not even part of the Golden Road, blah, blah, blah. Like no one cares about it. And then T1 won, and they were like, look, we won an international tournament, right? And it's like, no, no, no. Before you find out who wins, you need to decide. Because in the off chance that T1, or not T1, sorry, TL or KC win, you know the West is going to be like, this is the most important tournament that's ever happened in the history of esports. And it's like, no, 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 no. You should have kept that energy before this happened, right? I don't want result based analysis. So it's like, okay, what are we defining? Is it worth an MSI? Because I think David is like trying to say that MSI and first stand should like be equals and the world should be like twice as much as either one of those. Maybe I'm misremembering, but I think that's like sort of what he wants it to get to. And for me, I think it's like, it's very clear. Worlds is prestige in terms of like prestige, right?
Yeah.
Maybe not so much in terms of gameplay. I think MSI is the most competitive tournament of the year. And I think First Stand is like the kickoff tournament that doesn't necessarily it's not the most competitive because the format isn't that great, but it's the most loose and lax and it's the most like aggressive like we're going to shove like 50 champions in your face. I think it's like a different thing we haven't had that. And I think it's okay for each one to take their own space. I don't want all of them to like be the same thing. I like that they're all different. I know you don't like the format. The format could improve for sure, the number of teams, etc. But I think in terms of like, hey, this is a kickoff to the League of Legends year. I think it does the job.
So the problem I have with like the overall LTA plus this format is let's just say TL finishes like fourth in their group, right? Like in the group. Upsets top or Hammer Life, whichever one you want to choose. Makes finals. Somehow wins finals. Look at the overall like schedule that they played. Like, how do you even talk about them in terms of like the greatest North American team of all time? Like, because I think the argument that people immediately make is, well, they beat an LCK/LPL team to win the thing, right? But like, I
Yeah.
found it so hard because they played like 5 games in North America, and then like the shortest international event we'll have.
I agree with you. I don't think it should this shouldn't represent like expectations going into MSI. This shouldn't say, "Hey, your gameplay is really good." Like when we saw Team Liquid and G2 do well at MSI, we were like, "Hey, we can expect from them at Worlds." I don't think this is one of the cases where the teams that play well, you expect them to like keep up that trajectory. I think this just says, "Hey, we play this like style of League of Legends very well." Is at an early stage of the year when nobody knows what the meta is and like the things haven't been defined. And I think to Russell's point, I don't think this is part of the Golden Road. I think this is like an opening like event that's supposed to start the rest of the year. Now, if next year everything becomes fearless, everything format changes, that's a different discussion. But as of right now, I don't think this should be part of the Golden Road.
So, um, it's kind of links to like so in CS they have like I think it's called the ESL Grand Slam,
Yeah.
whereas you have to win like a certain amount of ESL events, including one of the big events, so either a major or an IAM Katowice,
Hmm.
like something like that. So like not every single event is classed as like the Grand Slam. Pretty sure TL in like Counter Strike won every event like for their Grand Slam, but I don't think FaZe did. Like so, like it would have been nice if Riot acknowledges the Golden Road like officially as a
Yes.
statistic and said like right, this is what counts for a Golden Road. So it's like your domestic splits or like so because it's free splits and LCK Cup and LTA like
And
cross
LCK doesn't
conference
have
is one.
three championships. Like LCK
Right.
has
So
only
like if it
two.
so like if you to me the final championship is the like big one for like at least for me for LTA. So let's just say you have to win the big LTA championship and then you have to win MSI Worlds. Like that would to me count as like for me if I was doing a Golden Road, that's how I would like shape it up. But there's no it's dangerous when you have to leave it up to interpretation from the fans because then you're never going to agree on anything.
Well, the thing is, if we take by that definition, then didn't T1 already do a Golden Road? Oh no, they didn't. Because
No,
wait,
I'm talking about like because like the integration of like free splits and each league only has like one championship that really matters. Like on
yeah, I
paper,
see what
really
you're
matters.
saying.
I think.
I think you have to win your domestic split because if not, then T1 have done the Golden Road in 2016 because they won MSI, they won Worlds, they won
Well, this is
Spring, they didn't
like
win
for
Summer.
me. So that for me, this wouldn't account to like revising any like history. I'm talking about like specifically from 2025. We now have this format. Riot should have been at the start of the year. This is what how you win a
I
Golden
see.
Road.
I think they'll do that
So
when someone gets the Golden Road or gets close. They won't do it until like that happens because as of right now, they're just not. They're not.
I think the
For some
question I
reason
would
they don't
ask
want
you
to.
is
What?
would so outside of Humble Life, would different participants made this tournament feel more serious? So let's say you had T1 FlyQuest G2 instead. Or not FlyQuest, sorry.
BLG maybe.
BLG FlyQuest G2 who were like all the favorites coming in
Uh huh.
like to their splits. Do you think it would have been taken more seriously? Like I know you got TL, but TL, like you said, they were down until they weren't. Like K Corp, no one thought that they were gonna surpass G2 immediately, but they did. And then like coming into the year, you didn't think the final was gonna be AL versus top esports,
Yeah, I
like in
didn't
split
have that
one.
on my bingo card for sure.
No. Neither did I.
I actually thought BLG were gonna. I thought it was gonna be between BLG and JDG. I thought those were the two
I
big
thought
teams that I had.
the LEC and the LPL were like foregone conclusions, and then they really disappointed me.
I actually
Both
had
of them.
Fnatic winning the split too. They went 8-1. Then they lost 0-2 to
I,
G2, and I was like, okay, it's G2. It's
I,
G2. It's G2.
mm, and like my thing was until I see it happen, I'm never going to bet against G2 because I've seen this happen so many times where they're just dog shit in regular season, and then they flip that playoff switch, and then they win.
For me, it was more like I just thought upset Mickey. Like Mickey, he is gonna keep winning. He's so good, and I think people underestimate him. And he was good until
I still
Fnatic
think he's very
collapsed.
good.
I think so too.
I think that's still an excellent signing for them.
Yeah, I think he's the best support in EU right now.
Mm-hmm.
But that's neither here nor there. I think that yes, probably people would take it more seriously. Personally, I wouldn't. I still think first stand and everything. It's in its name. It's just the first stand. It's like it's not. It's like the first little hurdle on like a mile run, and I don't give it like competitive. Like yes, you have to be good in order to win it, but I don't take conclusions from it going into the rest of the year in terms of like the strength of the regions or the strength of anything. Now, the fact that it gives MSI slots, now that's different. That's like teams really should take it more seriously if they aren't already. I think most teams are, but just personal. I think I'd probably give in terms of seriousness. If Worlds is at 100, I'd say MSI is like a 85, and like this first stands at like a 70, and then EWC is at like a 40.
Because I think, at least for me, I would have been completely fine if this was 2 teams per region. Like, I know Worlds, you have like 16 teams competing in the Swiss stage. Um, and everything, but I really just would have been like fine with 2 teams per like going.
I don't
Like,
think
and even though I don't rate Brazil, I still would have preferred more teams than the 5. I don't enjoy. I don't like how quick it's going to be. Like, it's going to be fun like for us because we're going to be doing media and stuff for it, right? But
dude, the schedule is gonna
it's
be horrendous. Your schedule
uh,
is gonna be
well,
great.
maybe mine's great. Yeah, I get to wake up at 8 a.m., watch
Oh,
some league, and then be done by midday.
my games are 3 a.m., man. It's gonna be so rough.
I used to be in the as a C9 fan. I've been in the trenches many times. I'd have no sympathy.
Dude,
Like, dude, I used
MSI,
to wake
okay,
up at
MSI
four,
was like so difficult.
like four. So like 2016, well, 2017 Worlds actually. I was waking up at like 4 a.m. to watch us play the Oceanic team, beat them in 20 minutes, and then I was going back to bed.
That's funny. I yeah, MSI was 3 weeks. It was rough, but at least this is like 1 week. So, um, well, I guess what 8 days because the media day is coming up soon. Do you fill out your form?
Yes, I've done all that.
All right. I'm hoping to get some good
I've
interviews.
requested way too many players, but it's fine.
I mean, I requested the maximum. I always do. Actually, did I
No, I
request two
don't.
people from CFO? I think I may have only requested one person. I think I only requested Chowie, but I don't remember.
TSM brothers.
TSM, brother. Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's someone that I know a little bit about, so it's nice.
Hmm.
Do you want to get into the NACL OQ drama that happened?
So I wouldn't like really call it drama, but I think there was like and this is personally not what they get Travis Gafford like can do like whatever he wants with his content. But like there were a lot of people from like, the NACL community unhappy that there was no hotline league that went on the like um and like, the tweet was like I'm paraphrasing completely, but it's like there's nothing going on this week, so like, there won't be any hotline league, and then a lot of people from the NACL community were like, talking like you could talk about the open qualifiers, and that led to like one of our good friends like Doc Respawn saying that like there should be. Let me get up his tweet so I'm not completely butchering what he said. Let me get this quickly. So he said like so many LTA North creators completely ignore or even openly say that they don't care about NACL/open qualifiers, then wonder why competitive NA league is on its deathbed. I think, and I think that's just kind of like the conversation I like wanted to have is like as an NA creator yourself, like how would you respond to like the criticism that our creators, I guess even including myself, like don't talk or like even acknowledge it? Because I have like my reasoning, but like I'd love to hear from you.
Well, I just think it makes no sense. I'm an LTA content creator. I make content creation
Mm-hmm.
content about the LTA and about like LoL esports, global LoL esports. Where are the OQ content creators? Where are NACL content creators? Why is it that Doublelift's team played again like Doublelift's team played against two different teams and is going to play against at least two more? And from those teams, we haven't seen content be like, hey, come watch us play against Doublelift's team and upset them. Like we haven't seen that. And I understand that a lot of these OQ teams are just like five guys in a dream. So it's not like an org and whatnot like behind them. So they're not making this content. But if you want OQ content, you need OQ people. Going out and be like,
Mhm.
why aren't the big guys not supporting us? It's like, well, you haven't even done the base work in order for the big guys to hear about you and to learn. And I'm not considering myself a big guy. I'm talking about like Travis and these other people, Raz and whatnot. It's like if they don't
Mhm.
hear the noise that you're making, then they're not. What they're busy. I think I saw briefly a tweet from David who said like, it's a bandwidth thing. Like I have so much league to talk about, right? Maybe Travis.
Mhm.
I think apparently he canceled Hotline League. You said because he didn't have topics to talk about. Is that what
I
happened?
just don't think there was. I don't think there was just one scheduled this week because, or that week because, like you said, there was nothing to talk about,
Yeah.
and I
So
think
like
just people from NACL just got like really like upset with that because they care about their thing so much.
yeah, I think if you had done a better job at like hyping up the community for this open qualifier, then people would have talked about it, in my opinion, and like he would have had talks about Double Lift's team and like maybe you know what? If I'm the 64th team, like because Double Lift's team was rank one, right, and or seed one, I would have made like a diss track, be like, "You guys are so old," and like just a bunch of like, because their names near airport. I would have had like a bunch of pictures of them losing, going to the airport, just like a bunch of pictures of all those players because they've four of them went to Worlds at the airport and been like, "Come watch us," and like made it a spectacle. And I know they got destroyed in like 14 minutes both games, but at the very least, people would have been talking about that game. And like, if you don't have, you have storylines and you're not utilizing them, then I think it's disingenuous to be like, why is everybody else not talking about it? You talk about it first. Do it first, right? And then come and say, hey, do you want to collab? Hey, this team, would you like to work with us? That team, would you like to work with us? But if you're doing nothing and then just complaining, then aren't you part of the problem? Like, where do you get on your high horse being like, oh, these, like, Travis isn't doing content for, X team in the OQs when neither is X team and neither is the person complaining? Do you see what I'm saying?
So, like, to credit Doc, actually, he has started to follow more the content route that David was talking about because he did a very good tweet showcasing his like editorial plan, like how he does his TikToks and like how quickly you can get these like pieces of content out.
Yeah.
And I'm actually seeing Doc doing the exact same thing now, and I'm like, thank you, because that's fine. Because I like everyone's limited to time, right? Like for me, I have like a long job like throughout the day, and then like you have other commitments. Like I have a relationship that I have to maintain. I have other aspects of my life that I need to keep also in check. Like, I can't just sit in my room like on the computer every single second of my life. And like you said, there's so much league to consume. I'm preparing for an international event right now. So like I won't be watching as much NA Open qualifiers as much as I'd like to, and I would love like shout out to Cubby who's trying to like get me access to like co-streaming, because even if I can't do it like right this second, it's something I do want to do in the future because I do like watching tier 2 when I can. Like I it's just a time commitment that like I don't even consistently do my own content on tier 1. So like if I can't, like I need to be able to do that to be even like start to at least for my own mental say, okay, I now have this extra time that I need to push for to like do tier 2.
Again, I like I said, I haven't looked at it personally and seen what people who's talking and what they're saying and whatnot. But just from what you're saying, that would be my initial response. Like, hey, do a better job at like hyping up your teams so that the tier one content creators can also tag along rather than having them be the source of like propping things up like artificially. That's
Mm-hmm.
just like my personal opinion. Again, like maybe if I see the exact tweets and read, I might disagree with what I said or whatnot. But just personally, that's where I'm standing right now. It's like I like you said, I've been having just been very busy, and so I haven't been able to like even upload. I still have interviews from like uh the split that I have. I don't even know if I'm gonna post that at this point because like they're so old, and I just have them. So even during the split, I wasn't able to like make as much content as I normally would be able to. So it's like asking me to do more interviews for players that I am not going to be able to prepare for because I don't know the players because I don't have the time to like look at their history and talk and like figure out and ask people about. It's a time commitment. It's kind of like what David is saying. It's like a bandwidth issue, and like when we're already so swamped with so much League of Legends, maybe not in NA, right? Because LTA that but like in other regions of the world, if you do other stuff, it's difficult for sure.
I think it's also like the quality of like content as well, because like I'm a big believer in like, while yes, it would be nice if you're consistently putting out like videos, they need to be like somewhat um like grabbing to me at least. So like I will give an example, and like please do not take this as like a disrespect or anything like Doc, but like the highlight videos that I've seen on like the TikTok, I find the editing style like just quite jarring. So like I tend to not watch them, but I would love to see like more highlights of like players. Like have you? I don't know if you have a YouTube channel. If you have a YouTube channel, that's great. I'll try and find it. But I think to David's point, that creators in the space just need to be consistently uploading their work and trying to like build that audience, because then at least then you can say like I've tried. And like I think it would, like, yes, in an ideal world everyone's like invested in tier 2 tier 3, right? But I just it's just not that like it's not that like feasible for like everyone.
Yeah, I agree. You want to talk about the tier one esports, the Zaya esports skin that is it, what is it even called? Prestige Zaya, something like that.
It's like battle
Oh yeah,
academy, isn't
Battle
it?
Academia Prestige, something like. I think there's a Prestige in there. Maybe I'm mistaken.
I'll be getting it
Okay, okay.
just because I don't have as the only Zaya skin I have is the ruler one, but that doesn't even really have any like audio changes or animation changes, and I really want a good Zaya skin.
All right, not bad.
But I'm bored of this lack of like. There has never even like been a conversation for right. Why do they not have like ways to like rep your team anymore? Because
I
if you look at the Valorant one, they're getting new knives every fucking year. Like each team is getting their own like, and like while they were considerably worse this year than the launch, every team's still getting like a pack, like a classic skin, and then a banner, and then a title. What does League of Legends get?
Victorious Aatrox or something like that, right? Or Worlds Aatrox or
And the thing
something like
is that
that.
they say like, oh, a percentage is going to the esports teams. Well, come on, like at least be a bit more like open with like what does that actually mean? Because a lot of people are going to lap that up, but I'm like, we all see receive it through the PR spin that they're given. Like they're just trying to hide the fact that they don't do anything for our teams. And I like, if you want to get into like hypotheticals, one of the suggestions I actually made on David's video is have temporary chromas that are only accessible at that specific event for when your team is in the tournament. So like choose one champion, like not that I'm asking you, but like let's say right, chooses one champion that they're gonna say, like, hey, for this event,
Zaya, for
we're
example.
gonna
Yeah,
have
yeah.
yes, Zaya. So and that's a perfect example because like you could do a lot with like the feathers and her like appearance. Just
It's just five team
like even
colors,
if you
right?
just did, well, yeah, it's like the feathers you could just change to like a TL blue or like Hummer Life orange or something like that. But I had like the idea of like having it so while your team is in that tournament, you have a temporary chroma that you can use to rep your team, and then once it's done, that skin is like vaulted. But at least like you for that time period were able to rep your team for that international event. If they're like hell bent on not having too many esports skins, because I assume that's their like biggest fear is like punching out so much like content little league skins when um you have the world skins already, right? So it's a lame still. Like it's not the best like workaround, but
I think there are other things that you can do, which I know that I don't know, maybe they'll never do it, but you could have specific like team logos. So for example, you know how we have the emotes and you can have like the TSM emote and you can have like CLG or C9 or whatever Shopify. Instead of that, why not, you know how we have finisher, we have that Jinx finisher?
Hmm.
I would pay for something that when the Nexus explodes, it shows like Shopify.
Why don't we have in-game banners? Like, so
Yeah,
you'll have like I have my Clash one. Why can you not just slap a Cloud9 logo on them?
yeah. When you
Or like
spawn into
recall,
game,
you
there's like
could
a little
have
banner that shows
like
your team.
when you recall, like you have like the honor little badge that appears in like it's quite transparent. You could do it with a team logo. Like if you are already hell bent on champions not having the skins for these teams, then there is so much more you could do.
I agree.
And it wouldn't like, and fans would love that because I used to always get to C9. Like whenever we'd make these international events, I'd always get the C9 logos. But what was that thing they had? So like you would be able to change your like tag, so it had like
Ooh,
I
I don't
think it was
remember
the
this
one of
one.
the MSIs where so it was one of the MSIs where like if you had this certain icon on, then you would have like in brackets FNC for like Fnatic,
Oh yeah, I remember that. Dang.
and then you had like you had one for LCS and EU LCS and all that jazz. Now
I
we can't
think
even get emotes consistently because they said nothing on that this year.
yeah, I think a very good start would be a skin for each league. So you have like the LTA North skin, the LTA South skin, the EU skin or EMEA, whatever it's called now, LCK, and the
That's what they did
LPL
in
skin.
Valorant. That's what they did in Valorant. Like even if you don't want the team skins, like the league has their own colors.
Yeah, let
So
me rep my team, my league at least. If you're not gonna let me rep the
right,
team,
have like can I have a ward, please? Just give me something. Like, I would have an I would buy an LTA ward.
yeah, I think there's a clear lack of interest from Riot's side, and I think Riot so Riot is spending a lot of money and not making the amount of money that it's spending, which is what it sounds like. When you think of like how much it cost to run Arcane and the fact that they didn't activate into the game and so they didn't make the money back, right? They didn't make the $250 million back because they didn't get people into the game buying the skins, buying the Jinx finisher, the Jinx like $200 skin, whatever it is. And like when there's
Mm.
clear problem of like getting people into the game and the game's main source of money is like skins and there are less people buying skins, and so you have to make more expensive skins to cover up for that, it becomes a very difficult argument when you're going against your CEO who's um used to be your CFO, right? Your financial officer, chief financial officer, and he's saying like, okay, if we do get esports skins, chances are there are people who only buy a skin once a year, right? They're just gonna buy the skin of that team, and we're not gonna make money off it because we're giving it to other people. And it's like at that point, do we make that skin? Do we pay people to make a skin for that team, and all of our money basically is lost because that money is going to the team? Or do we pay them the same amount of money and in the same time they're going to pump out a skin that's going to make us money? It becomes an argument of like which do we prefer at this moment in time? And it seems like there's no moment in time where they're going to say, "Hey, esports is a venture that is making us a lot of money. Let's do that." It doesn't seem like that's happening. And I don't know if it's on the team side, if it's on Riot's side, because of like the way the tournaments are working, whatever it is. But if you're having like 68, okay, a lot of that was Chinese viewership. If you're having 8 million people watch your finals, why is it that you're not able to convert those people into to playing the game and being monetized like customers? And
The thing is, we're
until,
not even getting championship skins anymore.
yeah, I don't,
Like
clearly they didn't make
that
enough
was one
money.
of the thing is that was one of the biggest like traditions like they had in the league. Is every year they would have a championship skin, and a lot of people look forward to that, including myself. Like I was so happy, like as an ADC player, when they like did a championship Ash, for example, And I've enjoyed even like not as a collector, but like I have all the championship skins available.
Wow. I don't think I have a single one.
Uh,
Not a big fan.
but esport, it scares me, like the state that we're getting to as an esport, like across the board. Like if this was 2016, 2017, first stand would be in a giant arena in Korea. There'd be every single final was in a stadium. Like it scares me how much they are shifting to it's worlds over everything. And like at least yes, they did acknowledge that the LEC studio thing will never happen again. Like, and then the next tournament they're back in a studio and they
It's
don't
not
like
Worlds,
their
they weren't
inaugural
lying.
their like their inaugural first stand tournament is in a fucking
Ballpark.
studio.
Yeah. It's still bigger than LAC studio, but you know.
What's this? It's like 500 people, if I heard correctly.
Yeah,
I don't
but
know how
like
much
here's
it
the thing.
actually is.
It was sold out to begin with. Like that just makes it seem like maybe you could have had a bigger arena and still sold out, you know?
Oh, they could have packed the stadium. Like they could have easily.
Especially since it's in
But
Korea. Yeah, I think they could have.
and the thing is, it would have given like KC fans, like they have ultras everywhere. They would have gone to this event if they could have. Like the first time to really get a new fandom like engaged in an international event, and I doubt there's going to be a single KC fan in the stadium
Yeah.
unless there's like Koreans that support KC, of course. But
I mean,
there'll be
Kana
none of
is
these
yeah.
traveling fans. There'll be none of the traveling fans that you could have gone if you went to a bigger venue.
Yeah, I mean, I will say, like, I think I'm not gonna say I've given up on Riot fixing the issue. I think that's where you and I come in. I think that's where like every single content creator, I'm not gonna say has the responsibility because it's technically the responsibility of like Riot and the teams, but has the capability of like putting in that extra effort, making that extra content, getting people hyped, making it an issue. Because as of right now, it's a financial issue for Riot. And when it becomes like, hey, we are losing money because we're not back in like 2016, 2017 days, like people are complaining, tickets are getting sold out immediately, like we can't there's clearly a way that we can grow again that is organic and sustainable. I think that's like the ideal way of like what do we do to get back to the 2016 2017 days where we were selling out MSG every single stadium we were going? When we went to Chicago there wasn't a single like seat available over what, like how do we get back to that? I think it's we need to go back and be like a small knit grounds community and grow it from the base. I think there should be no reason that the like content creation on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, like these platforms need to become essential for the survivability of this league. And I think until they really recognize that that's where it's moving, and it's not just Twitch numbers
Mm.
anymore. Like maybe it might take them too long to recognize that, but we recognize that, and I think it's our response. It's not our responsibility, but we are in a position where we can actually make that change. Um, Obviously, it takes
The
time. It's not
first
something
step,
that's going to happen, in 2 months. But it's like hopefully 2 years from now, we're not saying, oh, we're only having we're going to do even less. We're not going to have any stadium events for North
well,
America because it's not worth it. We want it to grow.
the thing is, it starts with the acceptance that the LTA is its own entity, because at the moment it's dying a slow death because there's an acceptance that Valorant is the top dog in NA, and like they're sharing this stuff with Valorant. And like I said, Loki has played one best of three, just using him as an example, in the Riot Games arena, and now he's going into his second split. Like, why have we gone from players like did Saint even no sorry like sorry
Lions, you
I
mean?
thought Saint no I thought Saint wasn't in um wasn't in the country at the time, but like there's these players. There's going to be players that haven't even played there yet, and we're into
Yeah.
Split 2, and they've been on the team. The like Lion, for example. Um, it scares the crap out of me because Riot aren't going to make another studio. They're not going to. I wish they would. I wish they would give, even if they gave us a small studio, just give us something that we can have as our own weekly, so we don't have to share with Valorant. We don't have to be on the same broadcast time as Valorant. Like it could be its own thing, competing at its own time, and like there's not going to be too much overlap.
It's hard
Like
when Riot's losing money and losing viewership and people aren't like activated for the LCS. And you could and I argue that or LTA, I argue that it's a marketing like problem. I think you need to solve the marketing problem before you get another studio. That's just like my
the thing
personal
is,
opinion.
it disrespects like open qualifiers. Like there should be more going on from the Riot account for LTA North.
That's fair,
Like
yeah.
if there is co-streamers, I don't know who they are because apparently the application that closed. Okay, well, who
Pretty much
actually made it
anybody could
into
have
the
gotten co-streaming. I if
right?
I wasn't so busy, I would have co-streamed to be honest.
Right. So like, who? I'm not even hearing from Riot. Who are these co-streamers? Like, if I don't know where to watch outside of like Cubby, for example, like, how am I gonna watch this stuff?
Well, that's the co-streamer's fault for not like advertising that. I
Eh,
don't think it's necessarily Riot's fault. Okay, yes,
I
Riot can
I
be
think it
blamed
works
because
hand in
it's
hand.
their open
I
qualifiers.
think
I
it's like
see.
50-50.
It's
Yeah.
because Riot gave the open qualifiers to a different entity to take care of, and that different entity is the one that's supposed to be advertising and
I
doing all this
haven't
stuff.
heard great things from like the main people that are in tier 2 and tier 3.
Yeah, I think they're optimistic about this year's like compared to last year, from what I recall. But again, like I don't know either.
It just seems like there's a lot of petty stuff that goes on in like tier 2 and tier 3. Maybe we just don't hear about it as much in tier 1 because a lot of it's like wrapped up in like, legal stuff that you probably can't even speak about. But it just sounds like there's a lot of drama that's always going on in these
Yeah,
systems.
there's a lot of drama. You're not wrong.
I'm just I don't want to be like doomer and making this like a really depressing podcast. I'm so down on because that they I have no faith that we're going to bounce back as a region. Like I think the next step is online. Like I think we like that's why it's transitioning between like Brazil and NA, right? So like you're not even having consistent finals in America anymore. So I think this year's is in uh America.
Yeah, it's gonna
The
be yeah in the US.
right. So then next year you have no like next year you have no North American big event like arena.
It's gonna be in Brazil.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you there. I think that the next logical step is we go online, which I don't want to happen. And that's where like again, like I
I
said,
think it goes online. That's it. It's done.
no, I
In
think
my opinion.
I don't want to let it spiral into a death spiral. I want to be the one of the people that's like making really great content about the LTA to get people interested so that that doesn't happen. That's my goal to do it with for the league and for my team specifically. Like I could care less if Cloud9 versus Team Liquid got, 10K viewers. But when Shopify play, you bet if we're not hitting 100K, like there's more that I could do. I'm just
Mhm.
making up the numbers, right?
Yeah.
That's where I'm at. I want to grow the league by growing my specific team, and when my team grows, then every other team is going to the league itself is going to grow, and if other teams are losing their fans, then we'll just pick them up. Regardless, I think that's where like content creators have the capability of making the content that the league won't make, making the content that the teams won't make, making the content that nobody else is making. Because at the end of the day, there's a very big marketing issue, and it's up like it leaves a gap for us to do stuff. Why is it that I was able to get like over 100,000 views on my interviews for the world final. It's because no one else did it. It wasn't because I was the best or because I was like there's a lot of reasons, but a big reason was like I was the first person to upload that video. I was the first person to upload the Faker like post game interview after World's Finals, the press conference. I was the first person to translate it and do. I was the first person to post the MSI finals as well. I was one of the people that was there the entire time, whereas other people weren't. And it's like when you give an opportunity, it's up to us to take that. Obviously, it's a very different type of opportunity. That's just an example. But we have the opportunity to make the content that Riot might look at and be like, oh my God, why is this person's like getting a lot more traction than the people that we're paying full-time jobs or whatever contractors? Why don't we talk to this person instead? And then you can say, hey, or just like, I'm not going to say classic Riot thing, but classic like game industry thing, just copy what they're doing, right? And just do it. And personally, I'm not against that because everybody at the end of the day is just a copy of someone else. But I think we owe it to ourselves if we love this region, love this product, to put in that effort.
Hmm.
And I speak for myself
I
first
think
and
that's why
foremost
I
because I
want.
haven't been doing that because of like
Yeah,
life, but
that's why
I
I really
will.
want to get our like fan match like off the ground at some point. Because I think that'd be like a long term goal, having like a fan league
Hmm.
that Riot could long term, actually tap into in their broadcast. Like, how's their fans doing? Like, you could because you could make the joke like, oh, 100 Thieves is in fifth, but their fans are first place. So like, should we sub them in instead? It's
That's
like
funny. Yeah.
it's like little things like that. But
Instead of LBLCS, we have like fan LTA, FLTA, or something. Actually, that sounds like you're saying something bad. LTAF. There we go. LTA fans.
yeah, I think it's just on everyone to do more. Players, Riot, us.
I agree.
Shout out to David as well in that regards because he's the only one that's been really like consistently on it.
I think I Will Dominate has been consistent. I think LS, barring like visa issues, has been relatively consistent as well. I think there are other like bigger content creators, but in terms of our
Maybe
size,
Dom in terms of like caring for the league though. Like I wouldn't argue that LS cares about North American League of
I don't
Legends.
think he cares about League of Legends
Maybe
anymore.
maybe I'm wrong, but like I would believe Dom more when he says like he cares, but we can like he even became a consultant for one of them, right?
Your team, yeah.
It's so hard for me to speak from like a like content point of view when my team does the most of anyone, still brings a lot of eyes. And I think that's the annoying thing about some of these other top teams is the viewership's there if you just do, if you like Flight Quest for example, like the viewership is there, just like utilize your players. Like, could you imagine a pod like the C9 podcast but it's Flight Quest and you just had Dwappo talking the whole time? Like, oh my gosh, like the amount of content you'd get from that. You could make like 70 fucking YouTube shorts of like that guy alone.
I know, yeah. Yeah, it's definitely an issue that we have to figure out, but it's something that's within our hands, which is nice. It's nice to know that like it sucks to know that we're in a position where like what we do actually matters because it shouldn't. We should be like the so tiny that like they're so big and there's hundreds of thousands of people that you won't recognize the extra 10,000 people that we might be able to attract. But when we're at 50,000 people and that 10,000 people is 20% increase, like it matters. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. I think that's about a wrap for all topics. How was your birthday? I saw the cake that the picture of the C9 cake that you posted on
It
Twitter.
cake was so good. It's like a chocolate one. Like
Okay.
the icing was insane. Like I had no idea. Like and like my family don't really they made me like a Cloud9 cake like years ago, which is actually insane. They had like the you remember we had the Red Bull like jersey? So we had like the Red Bull on the side and we had the I think it's like the 2019 jersey they did. Like they actually did like a full size like cake with the jersey and everything. It was insane.
Oh snap!
But yeah, birthday was good. Played some League, got some LP.
Nice. You hit
No, I pissed off some European fans, which is funny because me and this though completely random. They said, "Do you want to do Sona Tarek?" I was like, "Sure." And then the guy was like, the enemy bot laner was flaming, and I typed, "The LCS sends its regards," and they got upset.
That's funny.
And it started flaming, like TL and stuff.
Did you win the solitaire game?
Oh yeah, we stopped them.
Okay, nice, nice.
And like, it's funny because like the support was so like, I don't know about this. I've never seen a Sona Tarek in my life. I was like, trust me, I've seen the tech.
I've seen the tech.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
what rank are you now? I know you had like an unfortunate loss streak.
Oh no, I had like a midlife crisis on League where I genuinely convinced I was washed because I went from like mid plat, like overall my like MMR and stuff's like mid plat. I fell to like bronze one, like 90 LP, and I
Ooh.
had like a midlife. I was losing every single game, and I couldn't figure out. Like I was never playing bad in any of these games. I was just playing like kind of like coasting. And this was on like the main champions that got me to like towards Emerald and stuff. And I was like, damn, I washed. And then I've just been playing loose practically every game, but completely stomping. Like
Okay.
changed it up, played Zyra, played like she is one of the safest ADCs you can ever
Zyra 80
play.
carry?
No, sorry, Zaya. Zaya.
Oh, okay. I was about to say, dang. I don't know. I was safe.
No, because like people in that elo just they don't account for feathers,
Mm,
so they will just line up and you just pull them. They take a billion damage from feathers as well because it's like an insane ability, and then it's just free. Still grinding and about to get hit gold free.
okay.
Eventually, we'll get back to plat.
Nice. I've been
It's
scrimming.
more the anxiety as well that how can I call myself like an analyst and be in bronze? So I dedicated my life to playing until I got, and like gold's still not respectable at all for these pro players. But it's more if I can at least get back to plat. That's kind of where like most of the like creators and analysts are, anyways. Like that plat emerald level.
All right. I've been scrimming with my my LBL LCS team. We don't actually have we're on a wait list, so we were just like, hey, we'll scrim in case like we ever do get a team. It's been pretty good. I personally improved a lot. I haven't played much solo queue, but I went from I think I've just been winning, honestly. I think I'm one game away from Emerald. I don't know. I don't really play much solo queue. I kind of just scrim. I've just been so busy that I don't have time to play, but hopefully I will scrim maybe or like play some games and then hit Emerald before first stand. Because I God knows I'm gonna be busy after that or like during that. But
So how do you actually get into the low budget LCS? And if you're on the waiting list, is it just if any team drops out,
I
or
think so, yeah. It's like when teams drop out.
mm.
So
So like how
we're
can like for the next split, how would you go up in that regards? If
I have no
is it just
idea.
literally okay?
Yeah, I'm not the captain, so yeah, I'm
Mm.
not the one dealing with that stuff. So
So it's like
um
how comes like Doc has a team, but then I saw like where's Cloud's team?
yeah, they got in, we didn't. Maybe Doc has more clout than me, I guess. It was the thing is, it wasn't first come first serve. It was like we're gonna determine who we want, and then they determined that they wanted Doc. So I guess like his name is probably more well known than mine. So like David as well, kind of makes sense because there are some teams that had like three different teams. So it was like team, let's just say whatever team Apples 1, Team Apples 2, Team Apples 3, Team Apples 4. They had like this one group of people like had four. This one org had like four teams on their
Mm.
LBLCS, but like they probably have a good relationship with them, and so they were able to get in over us. But we're on the wait list, so
The thing is, like,
we're
what are the
waiting.
rank of all these teams? Because I actually saw in like the open qualifiers that some team, like I think apparently double this team's playing like a bunch of emeralds.
Yeah, so the
Well,
open
they
qualifiers
played
is
a
a bit
bunch of
different. Like open
yeah.
qualifiers, anybody can go in, right? And it was
Did
based
you think
on
about going in there, or
no,
did you not have
no.
time to?
I don't have time. Maybe next year I can play in the open qualifiers just for fun, but
This is why I really wish I was in NA because I feel like I'm missing out on so much. Like I can't play with like a you or David, for example, because
mm,
like the ping difference is too bad. And there's nothing like that in Europe. Like there isn't. Well, like there is, but it's not like how that's run. Where that's exactly like how Premiere is in like Valorant.
Yeah, it's a lot of
Well,
fun. Like
Riot,
I
like
was actually gonna tweet
speaking about
out.
it, Riot needs to do fucking Premiere in League.
Yeah, I was gonna tweet out that like playing League on voice comms is so OP because it's just so much more fun. The game is so much more fun when like you're playing as a team than playing like just by yourself. Voice comms would save so much. Just being able to tell my support, hey, I'm coming up for this crap. I know he's gonna be there. Can you walk up? I see that you have like push in your lane, and he walks up and we kill the enemy jungler at like 3 minutes. I
Yeah.
get double crab. Like I'm like 500 gold up at like 3 minutes. It's crazy. It's so OP. It's so OP.
Like there was a scenario today where like we killed enemy ADC. So we were both like 20 HP, but my support decides to push, and I like obviously have back because I just saw that enemy took dragon.
Mm.
So they're immediately coming bottom lane if they see us pushing their tower. We're both like 20 HP. I backed, they get a kill, and then they started flaming me. And it's like you could I that's a voice comm moment where you easily just say like back jungler's there. But
Yeah, I think voice comms are so OP. So I've been having a lot more fun with League of Legends recently, just playing with my LBLC
none of my
team.
like we none of my friendship group will play anymore. Like we played it like in like 2016, 2017 when we sucked. But like I have so much more knowledge now that I think a team aspect would have been great for League around this time.
Honestly, I would recommend you to get a team, even if it's like playing on ping. Like, are you playing to have fun or playing to win? I think if you're just playing to have fun, like
Oh,
it's like 80 ping, right?
I am not a play. I'm not a play. No, it's like 120.
Oh damn.
It's
Okay.
like a yeah. It's not. I'm not a play to have fun person.
Wait,
I'm
are
always
you
a play to
sure?
win.
Because I think it's like 80 ping from where I like when I play on EUS, it's like 80
When
ping.
when I do TFT, it's always
Dang. Okay.
like high hundreds.
I thought it would be a little bit better for you because you're in the UK, but I guess not, huh?
I can have a look, but
Yeah, but yeah, I guess if you're super competitive, like that ping might be an issue. But like, if you're
so
so
my
much better
ping
than other
test
people,
clocks out at 140.
ooh, okay,
Yeah, it's impossible to play, unfortunately. Which sucks because I would love to get involved in like low budget LCS,
yeah, I
but
can't wait till we get
they
a
haven't.
like approved and we can actually like start playing games because I it's not even about winning or losing. It's just so much fun playing with my team. It just really is.
Mm.
And I've been playing
But
jungle
we
and
could
I've
have had
been
it. We
like
could have had a creator team as well.
we
We actually
can,
could have
yeah.
had like you actually could have had a like obviously Dave's a better ADC than me, so I wouldn't play there. But we could have had like a full creator team somewhere.
Yeah, it would have been fun. We could have had Doc play support or mid lane because I know he plays a bunch of Swain.
I used to be a top laner, so I would easily
Yeah,
just
you could
slot in
bleed
there.
top lane. I'm jungle. David is 80 carry. We just have to find like a content creator support.
Mm.
Yeah, maybe
But
one day.
Doc and Swain did.
Yeah, but what was I saying? I forgot. Either way, it's been a lot of fun. Like I'm looking forward to just like playing more competitive like with my team, League of Legends.
It's always like you get that adrenaline rush from it. Like, dude, like when we won like Premier Finals and we were playing against like decently like level teams, and we won the finals, it was such a euphoric feeling of like getting promoted to the next league because it directly links to pro. It's like you never know that like you could be going up against a player that eventually plays in
Yeah,
VCT. Like I know like Plan Diamond players and Valorant's probably not, but it's that feeling of you knowing like one day you could like, this player could be in VCT.
yeah. For me, it's actually about like learning a lot. I just started playing jungle again after like 6 seasons of not playing it, or maybe more, maybe like 8 seasons of not playing jungle. So like I've been learning jungle, and I've been also starting to like become a shot caller,
Mm.
which is new to me. Like one of my feedback, my team was like, "Look, you're the jungler. You should be calling this stuff. I don't want to be calling this stuff." And so like okay, and then I slowly started to like learn how to shot call, and like that's a skill that I never had to work on because I never played on comms, right? I always just played.
competitive competitive games hit different. Like you know that
Agreed.
feeling of
Yeah.
like those feel different to like your average solo queue games. Like my group of friends never understood that idea until we played our first competitive like Valorant game. This was the very first game, and they were playing slow. They like the enemy team. They were playing calculated. They had strats, and it was like, and this was in like silver gold like games, and it's like, and on our team there was like little to no communication because we hadn't like they had no idea what they were doing, even though I had like an awareness of they're gonna play differently to how you'd play in ranked because it's a 5 man team you're playing.
Yeah. Hopefully we get more of that soon. At least for my team, I'd love to get in. And if you can find something in EU like that, maybe not LBLCS, but I know there are other like leagues, smaller leagues. I don't know like if the UK has something like that, but it could be worth a look into.
I would, but like I don't know really like anyone on this side of the pond.
I mean, I didn't know
I don't know
anybody,
like
and just got
fair.
to know
Oh,
them.
so
So
is your team completely made up of people you don't know, or
there was one person who I like knew off. It was a mutual on Twitter. He's the one who like suggested. He was like, "Yo, you want to like do this?" And then I was like, "Sure." And that's how like the team started. And he was like the team captain. So
mm,
we went on the LBLCS Discord and just like looked for people, and we got all the players from the Discord. I think actually on Hotline League, I went on, and at the end of my chat out, I was like, "Hey, we're still looking for like a player," and I think that's how we found one of our subs. But yeah, that's pretty much how
that's
how
funny.
the team formed.
One day we'll get Premier
One
in
day,
League of
yeah.
Legends.
All right, that was a pretty fun episode. I like how we put our like
Yeah,
little
it's
life
great.
discussions at the end instead of the beginning.
Mm.
Anything you want to shout out?
Save the good stuff to the end.
Yeah, who cares about leaks? Save the good stuff to the end.
Uh, just keep following my socials. Like, I've taken a break at the moment from TikTok just because my life has gone so hectic, and like I want to give the time to have like half decent like edited content instead of just like I always feel bad if I've posted something I know is not like well edited and like kind of rushed.
Hmm.
So I've taken a step back and at the moment kind of like evaluating like what do I want my socials to be and like what I want my content to be because I'm kind of like I it's actually sparked from the conversation I think you like I asked you and David to talk about is like what do people see me as and
Mm.
like, while I am going to be doing content still like doing stuff with you and like Dave and stuff I don't know if I want to see myself as a content creator when I've devoted a lot of years to being like a esports journalist. So like a lot of my work I think going forward will be like one short that is more like journalistic focus and one that's esports like heavy just like LTA or LCK like focus. So I'm kind of doing like the mix of both.
Yeah, I think that actually fits what you want. I would say that that's like a good
Mm,
match of like the idea of like modern esports that I have at least. You know.
yeah, because I felt like I don't know like when David said, "Oh, I see you more as a content creator," I was like, I would not. I That's not what I wanted.
Mm.
But I guess I kind of just want to do a mix of everything. If that makes sense. Like
Yeah.
I love doing the fan stuff. I love doing this. Um, but then also I really enjoy like the nitty gritty side of like esports. So it's kind of trying to like provide content that everyone will come together, even if it's this video is more like a serious journalist video, and the other is more esports related.
I mean, that makes sense. Yeah. I think I think that actually worked quite well with you. If like you had one esports focused like journalist kind of thing, and then another short showing off like your not commitment, but like uh, more esports. I think that's like a good mix of stuff. For myself, I'm
Mm.
gonna be posting a lot of shorts about like first stand. Like that's mainly what's gonna happen. Hopefully, I get some interviews. I think the interviews they're happening on the 8th. It's just like the morning of the 8th. Is that what's happening?
Uh, to be honest, I have not really checked since submitting my
Okay, I don't remember exactly
let me
when
check the
media
first
day
stand
is,
schedule.
but Yeah, so once those interviews are out, I'll be trying to like clip them up and hopefully I get some stuff with NA.
The TL K Corp series starts at 8 a.m. for me.
Yeah, it starts at 3 a.m. for me. It's gonna be so much fun. Um, but yeah, just I'm just gonna try to like I'm gonna be doing a lot of streaming as well. Like after the games, I'm not sure if I'm gonna do it the night of or so like if the game starts at 3 a.m. my time, I'm thinking maybe like 10 p.m. my time around night, like nighttime usually is like I'll do like a first stand hot takes and just talk about the games, or I'll do them right after the games end. I'm not entirely sure, but I'll figure something out. So hopefully every day I'll be going live after the games, either right after or like towards the end of the day, and then just a bunch of interviews, like editing all the interviews and stuff like that. It's gonna be fun. I'm gonna try to do as many as I can, and hopefully get them all out this time because I did a bunch of LTA interviews that I just didn't have time to upload, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think even someone asked me, he's like, "Hey, did you happen to get an interview with this bro?" I was like, "Yeah, but I didn't upload it." So I did like an unlisted version, had them watch it because they were interested. But yeah, not hasn't been the greatest, but hopefully, yeah, hopefully this next week will be awesome in terms of content. And TL win first stand. It'll be fun.
As a journalist, yes. As a C9 fan, hope not.
I
I was
respect it.
actually, I was thinking about this. I don't want to like, prolong it, the podcast anymore, but like, if I was not a media, I would be preying on TL's downfall. I am not in the position of I want to cheer for a rival. I'm not one of these like NA above all. Obviously, I'm not NA, right?
So you
But
you would rather K Corp win than Team Liquid?
ideally, both. I both lose.
Both lose. Okay, okay, nice.
Like, I'm not gonna be watching it with like peak interest outside of laughing at a rival if they lose.
I respect that.
Like I'm not like the as a journalist, it's completely like you have to have somewhat like I can't be too biased. Like I will like, every piece of work I've ever written, like every piece of work as a journalist I've ever written has been like completely unbiased. Like, I will glaze TL. I will shoot down C9. It's not like a I will go into it with like too much emotion. I will always like try to be as objective as I can with any of my work. So like when you do these international events, because you've spoken to these players before, you've built up that reputation, it makes it a lot easier for me to like suppress like that inner fandom in me that like you want TL to lose. But like let's just say I wasn't a journalist. Yeah, I wouldn't be saying, "Oh, we have to cheer for our NA brothers." No. Because I'm just built that way from soccer, right? You don't cheer like so in soccer that there's the Champions League. I don't know if you've ever heard of it. It's like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
basically it's European competition. I don't cheer for the other English team to win. Like if a Manchester United fan was supporting Liverpool, that you would get some serious stuff in your like inboxes.
Yeah, I used to be a Real Madrid fan way back when. So like if Barcelona
Like,
beat
could you
us,
imagine a Real Madrid trying to support Barcelona in like
hell
cheer for
no.
Barcelona?
Dude.
Like,
If we lost
I'm
to
not
them
even
and they go to the
joking.
Champions
If
League, I just
I
hope they lose. Like
if
zero
I
10.
if I if I celebrated a Liverpool like thing on Twitter, I'd get doxxed. Like I'm not even joking. I promise you. Like if I did it on Facebook, I would get doxxed.
Well, Liverpool have the best player in the world right now, so they're doing quite well.
I will not speak.
All right, man. It's a fun episode. I'll see you guys next week. All right.